Hello and welcome to another Site Supervisor briefing. Greg Evans here, and with me today I have Janeth, one of our lead platform developers at Site Supervisor today. He'll be showing us how to accept an invitation to a project. Janeth, I get an invitation to a project on Site Supervisor. What does that mean?
So, Greg, when you log into Site Supervisor and you come to your dashboard, which is what we're looking at now, you'll see a pending invites tab in the top left-hand corner here. And I can see that I've been invited to Metro Tunnel. So if I see any invites on this tab, that means that someone's got a project up and running and they've invited me to join on some capacity.
They've invited your business, yeah.
That's right. And here there'll be some description. So I've been invited to the Metro Tunnel in our sample setup as the developer.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and join that project. So all I have to do is click on the accept invite button on the right hand side, and I'm prompted with a three-step wizard. So the first page is just essentially giving me a quick snapshot of the project, just so I can just double check the information that's presented. Things like, what's the project status, what's the address of the project number, and things like that. And here I can also see that, Richard Holding has invited me to the project. When you get this invite, there's most likely a conversation that's happened outside of Site Supervisor. So, you'll probably be aware when you get a project invite. This just kind of confirms the conversations that might have happened outside of it. So I'd click next, and the next step is for me to decide which employees from my business get to come across with me onto this project. Because, I could be a business with 20, 30, or even 50 employees, but for this project, I might only need 5 or 6 of them to come work with me. I can join the project by myself, because you can bring employees to the project or even remove them from a project at any point in the future.
Okay.
So this is just kind of the first step that you'd have to take.
So for the purpose of this demonstration, let's pull a couple of these employees in today.
Yeah, let's. So all I have to do is just kind of pick which ones I want to bring across. And if I make a mistake, all I've got to do is remove it. So removing here is just toggling left and right for the project. You're not going to accidentally delete their account or anything like that.
And what are all these colours, these green dots and red and orange dots?
Yeah, so if you read at them carefully, it says, so the green is just adding them, so, kind of like a positive word, whereas the red is to remove them from the project. And obviously yourself is locked. You have to come across as the business owner, just for data integrity. We have to make sure that you come across as well. So say I pick James Harding and Kevin to come with me, and I also have to pick the site lead for this project. Now you can pick from any person that you've selected to come across with you onto this project. So since I've picked 3 of us, those are the options that I have available here. Now if I say I also add Steve to come across, now Steve will show up in my potential site lead options. But let's go ahead and pick myself as a site lead.
I knew you would pick yourself.
That was not going to be any other way. So the last step, and probably the most important step of this process, is you got to make 3 decisions for each employee that you want to bring across. The first one is the roles that they hold on this particular project. This is optional. You can not pick any of them if you don't want to, but up front, if you want to say, hey, James Harding is our first aid officer, he's also the leading hand, you can fill that information out here. The second important thing is the reporting hierarchy on this project. Now, we don't assume that the reporting hierarchy in your business is the same as it is going to be on the project. This is why we give you an opportunity to change that. For example, you might have 30 people in your business, which is a relatively complicated reporting hierarchy. But if you come on a project and it's only 4 people, the hierarchy might change. So in this instance, let's say, James and Kevin reports to myself, Anthony, and then Steve reports to James. A very simple hierarchy. And the last decision we have to make is that for each of these people, what permission level that they get access to for this project. Now, as the business owner, I get the maximum permission level associated to my business, and I can't change that. So when I was invited to Metro Tunnel, I've been given level 5 permissions. Now, Site Supervisor runs on a level 1 to 5 permission structure, so which is why when I look at each of these people, I get to choose. Do I give them level 1, which is the lowest level, or level 4, which is the highest that I can delegate to my employees? Now, we'll give a small description as to whose best suited for these roles. We have a separate video on permissions which you can watch and get yourself more comfortable with that. But for this purpose of this demo, let's just give everyone level 2 access.
And this can be changed, of course. These levels can change as time goes by.
That's right. The levels, the supervisors and the reporting hierarchy, the roles, which employees from your business is on the project or not, can all be changed at any time by just going into that project. So let's go ahead and join the project. So that's it, just with like 3 simple steps.
And what about all the businesses' plans and confirmations, things that they want the employer to know?
On the project itself. So that'll happen on a kind of separate pathways, so to speak. So we've just joined this Metro Tunnel project for the first time. So by bringing 3 or 4 employees across. And
what about company policies, though? Don't you want to take them across so that the employer knows?
Yeah, exactly. So that you can manage that on My Business on Site. So for that initial onboarding, we try to keep it as minimum as possible, like just purely personnel to get started on the project. But afterwards, you can come to My Business on Site, and then as you can see, we've got our 4 employees here. I can add or remove them by clicking Add Employee to Project on the right-hand side, or I can decide to to say, okay, Steve, you're no longer required on this project by removing him. Now, this doesn't remove him from my business, just from this project, which is important to know. And this is where you can, to your question, Greg, I can bring my business policies or compliance and insurance across.
Lovely.
Yeah. So that's not critical for the onboarding process, but
it can come later.
Absolutely.
Terrific. Janet, thank you very much once again. That's how you accept an invitation to a project on Site Supervisor. If you'd like to know more, check out some of our other briefings.